Oye Siri, pon una alarma dentro de media hora.
Taking them out after they have loot, after they have a little bit of a sense of how the game is going. So you're seeing those day 2 adjustments really roll by, at least side by side on these POIs. Now it's a completely new equation for Lincoln Default, a team they haven't really dealt with on either day. Rifle and Marion rolling in right beside them. Everyone's just kind of chilling inside the metal boxes down below. And usually all these streams are burnt down. I'm wondering exactly what's going on here, if someone's storm surge plans changed while rolling into the second day.
Yeah, we often like to see teams get rid of these trees just to give themselves more vision, better lines of sight to hit some of these shots. Vino and Jodo, they look like they're in a bit of a pickle. You can see the armored walls coming out to try to add a bit of extra protection, but that's not going to be enough. Joe will be knocked. Vino now with his back against the wall and not much HP. He's got the chug splashes. That's going to be a lot of quick HP that he can add to his tally. But ultimately, he ain't got much time to work with regardless, so he will also go down. And it was different teams that took down different players, right? Like we said, these teams will sit in zone and hold you, stop you from coming in. And so that will be the end of their run in this game.
I'm liking these very interesting transfers of power. I feel like, I don't know, I have this headcanon in my head. Every time a team eliminates another one, they gain a little bit of, like, I don't know, the way they play. I feel like every time I see anyone take out Pink, Anas, or Aqua, they end up having a little bit more setup for height, or have that as a part of their personality in the game. Hen and Queasy are the ones that find Aqua. I'm not exactly sure where Noah Riley is, but that seems like a lot of loot for just one body. Might be both teammates. We'll see in just a second. Maybe Noah Riley is up.
Are you predicting a high ground masterclass then in this game from Hen and Queasy? Is that the shy way to call?
I think so. If Aqua's not there, if there isn't like a, you know, mysterious beat people aren't used to in the lobby, because he did try to take high ground in that first game, and Hen and Queasy have a refresh at this point, with hopefully a rotation that goes well, I feel like they finally get to have a sense of control. If they're coming in the same way Aqua is, in terms of attacking the zone, this should be one of the best spots to take high ground whenever that's possible.
Yeah, and speaking of spots, these guys are in 4th place on the leaderboard. They won last game, Janice and Vortex. And if you watched yesterday's broadcast, sorry, I know I'm going to sound like I'm repeating myself here, but these guys really on the type of beat of, hey, we're going to do well in game 1. We're going to disappear for about 3-4 games. You guys won't see us. Then we're going to come back in like game 5 or 6, win, or just have a really big pop-off and be super high on the standings.
One game wonder, Janice and Vortex, at least on the super pop-off.
The funny thing is though, right, I feel like there's this narrative, right, that, you know, maybe they aren't able to gain their momentum. I actually do think they're a very consistent team, I should say, right? I think one of the biggest problems they have is that they don't do a good enough job of mitigating the risk of some of these later zones, right? And so when they don't necessarily get favorable zones, they can struggle, right? They don't necessarily have massive adjustments in their game plan. They just get a bit unlucky with the zone sometimes and can't deal with that.
Adapting is literally, I feel like, more than 70% of these games. So if they are acing that 30% and doing it very well to where it can represent a majority of their points, cool game plan to maybe end up top 5. They'll have to break that stride to maybe get towards that first place spot. We'll see some of the teams below on Surge going for moves, but you talked about narrative, Levin. The narrative of this game has really changed. We're talking about Hen Queasy with the comeback with some of these top teams down. Toos, Bootrick, Pink, Anas, and Aqua as well. Not going to be one of the top teams, or the teams that likes being on top in terms of high ground. 3 high ground teams and 2 teams high on the leaderboard are not alive for the moment. And I see Hen and Queasy next to Trulix and Chico higher than anyone else in terms of bases. We're going to have a very different game right now. Kinzel to sip those alive as well and really thriving from fight to fight. They're the ones that kind of survived that entire Benji entanglement as well. This will be a very different type of game, and already we can see the flare is a little bit fun to watch from Queasy and Hen. They're moving in with the swings. They're looking pretty spry as they do so. At the front side of the zone with the potential now to build that base up towards the skies for height. They have everything set up. We talked about the other high ground base, Chulex Chico. Hen actually took down Chico while moving here. This man nonchalantly takes out the only opponents that were in a position to get the height, and they're bullying an armored wall. Is there enough time to get this down before that resurrection comes through? Absolutely. The pressure's there. That's insane.
They're going to keep it going as well. That's nice. Hen, an absolute powerhouse. He does it like nobody else at times when he goes berserk mode. And so we'll see whether this really is going to be their game to claim high ground with some of their opposition not there to stop them.
Yeah, that top floor, the penthouse suite, it is empty. Thomas HD, Tayson, you'll notice they're only looking up right now. They kind of have the scope of what's going down around them. Thomas is really focused on that base above, and now maybe on the people around them, maybe seeing who's not editing, looking for pads. They split it up. Tayson's going to be looking for the option to move out, but they're on the front side of zone. Janus Vortex, you talked about the adaptation. They're not going to be able to flow smooth like water this time. They got iced up, cooled down, and Vortex is gone.
You've seen Janus have some crazy clutches, right? In the week where they qualified for the FNCS, Janus had a game like this from this point onwards as a solo, and he went absolutely huge. And so we'll see if he can do it again.
We always know that Scram and Rescard are going to be some of the duels that get picked apart at the very start. Janus not going to find a shot. It should be very important to land one soon, though. 158 below. That zone will start to strike at him from the skies. He finds one solo he can kind of bully, and he's really rattling it away. It's a duo, actually. He's making it look like it's a solo with the way he isolates these fights. Meanwhile, we look over at height. Hen and Queasy, the fact of first place for the moment, it looks like, how has this happened? How have they taken over the board? They're looking to maybe have a name in this game, but look, it's Alex and Andy. The people you never expect to take height, but they do, and they make it very difficult to retake. They invest so much to keep things alive. They're up. DKS and Bass Sniper tried to hold on to the high ground as well. They got denied. Who will reign supreme as Thomas HD and Tayson look to take height as well. They're going for the full retake. Janus on the right side is also trying to clutch. He finds a little bit of damage, but Thomas HD and Tayson, they have the clouds under their control.
They went into the back of the zone. It looked like maybe they were tanking a bit too much HP. Was it going to be worth it? At the moment, it seems like it is, because they have control of high ground, and this is where they want to be. This is where they will feel utmost comfort, and it's from this point onwards that they can really determine how these standings look.
Janus still has second place under wraps for the moment. This man's basically using Shadow Clone, moves all around. It seems like I'm watching 2 players playing at the same time, building and still shooting at the same time, having pressures on both ends. But it's too much. Requires a lot of chakra to maintain. He goes down. Clown and Grols now. He'll start to move in. Second place, they take it over from Janus. What it looks like, it's just a little bit of chaos on all sides. They have the mats, it's just wood, totally reasonable deal on the same layer around them. This is going to be really scary for height. So many duels alive, a lot of pressure to maintain.
And you can see Hen and Queasy, they keep looking up. You know that's exactly what they want to do, but the material count is dwindling. But you can say the exact same thing for Thomas and Tayson. They haven't got much to work with. And Tayson actually has got to be careful as he almost drops down to his demise. The armored wall for the extra bit of protection, but he knows that this team right below him is a hindrance, is a hassle. But reasonable deal now. From out of nowhere, and they have actually been able to grab height from Thomas and Tayson. Tayson looking for the chop, but is it going to be enough? Hen isn't going to be there. Reason is going to do a good job to snip him out and send him down. And so the deal and Reason have stolen height, and they might steal this from Thomas as well. He doesn't have much to say. He has the materials, will try to slide out of dodge, but can't get out of the way. The deal and Reason bulldoze the high ground team.
It looked free, but that team before Thomas and Tayson absolutely got trapped and scammed. Now Ref's guard down with Scram on the low ground, gonna be looking for crazy shots, and they're landing so much and a lot. Scram with the moves, but it's not gonna be possible for him to stay alive. Ref's guard now will try to make as much as possible from this situation. One pillar in the way of him and a big shot from Clown. He actually backs up, and our Ref's guard might go down playing the placement. Clown not out yet. Ref's guard's trying to just do something from this spot. That shot can railing, but it's not going to be possible for him to stay alive. Now everyone's lost inside the sauce towards low ground. Meanwhile, up high, Zeal and Reason, they look just so free and fly.
The two and Reason, we always know that they're going to be good for one game. Yin and Yang, they are so in sync. And here above everyone, it looks like their game to lose.
This is going to be a nice little slow burn towards the end. Rifle and Marion, they have very good trap setting potential. Hit hard when they do find the angles. Reasonable deal though, we know they're game finishers. They're 2v2. This might be one of the strongest duels you can see, but look at Rifle and Marion jumping around. Doesn't matter. Reasonable deal. They close it out. That is the game 8 VR.
Once you open up for a moment and give them an inch, they take a mile. You never want to leave yourself exposed against Vidil and Reason. Absolute legends coming through. And they do a spectacular job to get the victory royale. What a game for these boys.
I feel like that retake is a lot more impressive than the way they just finished out that game. Very default, very slow. I like the fact that they have the temperament to slow down and look for the shots instead of chasing them through. That's what they're historically known for. Just a nice game 8 overall, and now they're really high on those boards.
Yeah, that was real nice from those guys.